Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Good morning, everyone. It's a winter wonderland out there. Snow overnight, 3 to 5 inches across San Antonio. We've got updates for you coming up.
And pretty quiet out there on the roads for now. I'll tell you what you need to know and when TxDOT is going to be clearing the highways of this snow.
And a good morning to you, everybody. We are on early this morning, and for good reason. It is Monday. It is February 15th. Steph, you were off last week, and now we brought you back. And
yeah, with snow.
We've got our hands full this morning, don't we?
Yes, an eventful overnight.
Yes.
I've never driven through snow before in my life.
And now you have.
And now I have.
Yes. KSAT put us up at a hotel near the station last night. Many of us here on the crew. And I was just surreal to walk to work this morning under the crunch of snow, and to hear people scraping windshields.
Yes.
That's not typical.
Not at all.
For South Texas. Hey, before we get to weather and traffic this morning, here are some of the school closures and changes. And we're running all of them at the bottom of your screen there on that crawl. Very detailed information down there. But here's what we've got. San Antonio ISD closed today and tomorrow. There will not be remote instruction for SAISD. Students will continue to have access to the district's digital learning playground and ClassLink portal. Schertz, Cibolo, Universal City ISD, today will continue to be a holiday for students. All professional development scheduled for today will move to a virtual format for staff. South San ISD students and staff will attend virtually. Southwest ISD staff will also work from home today.
And we have some other important closures. So many area businesses, doctors' offices, and other services will also be disrupted. HEB will have adjusted store hours. It will be open today from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. And today's COVID-19 vaccination appointments at the Alamo Dome and WellMed clinics have been rescheduled. The vaccine site at Wonderland Mall will also be closed all day today and until noon today. Via's transit service will be unavailable. When service returns this afternoon, buses will run on a Sunday schedule through Wednesday. For a full list of locations and details, go to our website at KSAT.com.
Well, we've had icing, we've had snow, and here is a look. That's actually not San Antonio International Airport. That's a look at the CPS Energy map right now. But speaking of airports, and we'll get to CPS Energy, the airport right now, most flights are canceled, both inbound and outbound flights due to the weather. A few flights may try to go later or tomorrow. But right now, most flights in and out of San Antonio International are obviously definitely going to be affected by this winter weather around here.
And speaking of the winter weather, we saw a lot of snow. A lot of people will be waking up to see the stuff that sticks here locally. Justin, what do we expect now?
Well, guys, the snow has ended, and we want to balance all this. And let's see if we can take Max 1, guys, for the graphics here, if we could. But the snow has ended, and we are looking at some very cold temperatures at the moment, down to about 12 degrees. We'll see if we can get the weather graphics up here in a second. Max 1, if we could, back there with the director. But the snow has ended. We're looking at some of the cameras here. We're still seeing some blowing snow out there. There's still a lot of wind. You're still going to see some of the blowing snow, but the precipitation itself is winding down, and temperatures are at 12 degrees at this hour. Some of the coldest temperatures we've seen in a long time. We'll talk about sort of the historical perspective there here in just a second. There you go. 12 degrees in San Antonio, 13 Canyon Lake, 7 in Comfort, 8 in Bandera. We do not see numbers like this very often, so this is moving into a historic realm there. Not since 1989, anyway, have we seen numbers like this. We'll zoom out some. Single digits still in the hill country. It's 8 in Junction, 7 in Rock Springs. Snow on the ground everywhere. That's one thing about this event. It was all-encompassing. The entire viewing area has snow on the ground. Roads are bad. Anywhere you go, there's ice underneath that snow. So you want to be very careful. Now, the flip side to this, we do want the kiddos to go out and have fun. Doesn't snow very often here in San Antonio, but if you do, be very careful with the wind chills. It's -5. That's what it feels like right now. You want to make sure you bundle up if you're going to be outside this morning. Gloves, jackets. You know how it works here. So just a lot of layers, and be careful with those winds. They're starting to die down some, and I think the winds will continue to die down a little bit more this afternoon, but the wind chills could go as low as -15 in a few spots. Winds 15 to 25. We do have a wind chill warning in effect, and that's going to go through midday today and includes all of the area. Forecast 9 around 8 o'clock, potentially. That's how cold it could be, 14. 19 at noontime, up to 24 by 2 o'clock. This is, again, one of those things we don't show temperature maps like this in San Antonio almost ever. So it just shows you kind of where we are here. As far as this storm system, it's moving away. You see some of the snow still hanging on across some of our far eastern counties, places like Hallettsville. You're still getting a nice band of snow at this hour. Cuero down to Beeville, and then a few light returns down there around Cotulla. And again, still some blowing snow here in San Antonio with those winds. And by the way, this storm system stretches all the way up to Dallas, Tyler, Texarkana, down to Houston. Houston actually reporting some thunder snow earlier. Very dynamic system as it moves through Texas. And the numbers bear that out. -6 in Amarillo, 0 in Lubbock, 9 in Waco, again 12 here in town. And wind chills, -25 in Amarillo, -15 in Lubbock, and -11 in Waco. So these wind chills are kind of off the charts here. Again, stay warm if you're going to be out this morning. Don't get on the roads. They're snowy, they're icy, they're completely snow covered from what we can tell. And with more on that, let's go over to Samuel King with the latest.
Good morning, Justin. Thanks very much. This is a look at 1604 at John Peace out there in the northwest side. And you're talking about that blowing snow there, and this camera was showing a wind gust just a moment ago, and snow was just flying over there. And we have seen actually a few vehicles out, but thankfully there's not many vehicles on the roads, and that's because there are a lot of closures across the area. This is just a look at here in San Antonio, but you can see there's a lot of yellow and orange on the map, so snow-covered roads, people driving slowly, and that's a good thing. And we'll take a closer look at some of the closures. We'll start here downtown. I-35, the upper and lower levels, I-35, the upper level, 281, the overpass, all closed right now and until further notice. Also up here, 1604 northeast side, 1604 35, the interchanges are closed. Pretty much all of the major ramps and interchanges in the area are closed, and that includes 151 at 410. TxDOT says the crews will be heading out in the next few hours now that most of the precipitation is moving away to clear the highways, but it is still a dangerous situation. And on the few that might be open or that aren't blocked, that's something you'll want to keep in mind. And also, before I send it back to everyone, I know there are some people who might be heading to work later. And again, with the temperatures that we've had, even if they come out here and clear the roads, there still could be a lot of slick spots because some of the road treatment stuff just doesn't work at temperatures this cold, or it doesn't work effectively. So we want people to be careful today. We know, as you know, HEB is opening up later today, and think people have to get out and about later this morning. Just still be careful, even though the snow is not falling. Mark, Stephanie?
And those folks are going to be relegated to the surface streets for the most part. Just count on it for sure. Thank you, Samuel. More to come on traffic all morning long here on GMSA. But we do begin with late breaking news. A busy start for the morning for San Antonio firefighters on the scene of a house fire in a South Side neighborhood. This
is all unfolding in the 200 block of West Lubbock near I-10. Our Stephen Cavazos is live there now. And Stephen, how's it looking out there now?
Hey, Mark, Stephanie, definitely a busy morning for San Antonio fire crews here off West Lubbock. Now, thankfully, these unusual conditions didn't create much of a barrier when it came to battling that fire. If you take a look right behind me, you see that's possibly smoke or maybe even some steam we're seeing coming from that location. That is where that fire broke out just before 3 this morning. Now, we are told, thankfully, no one was inside at the time that fire broke out. A battalion chief here on the scene did tell us that the home was actually vacant. However, they say that the cause is still not known at this time, but they haven't ruled out arson. They say it is possible that someone may have entered the home to start a fire to keep warm from these cold conditions, but arson is expected to be out here a little bit later on to determine the exact cause of that fire. Now, crews are still out here just overhauling some hot spots, but they say most of that damage came from the front of the home, but it is considered a total loss at this time. The estimated cost of the house, the damages that is still not known, but crews will be out here for a little bit while longer. Again, arson is expected to come out here to later investigate, but fire crews are advising that anyone that is trying to keep warm from these cold conditions just to use some extra caution. Mark, Stephanie, over to you.
Stephen, thank you very much. Well, these cold temperatures aren't just uncomfortable, they're also putting a huge strain on the electric grid here in Texas. As a matter of fact, as we speak, CPS Energy says it's under orders to begin rotating outages.
Our Katrina Weber is live outside the CPS Energy Service Center downtown with more on what that means to you and how you can help. Now, how can you tell if you're experiencing a rolling outage or just an outage related to the weather?
Good question, Stephanie. According to CPS Energy, a rolling outage usually lasts about 10 to 15 minutes. Now, if it goes on longer than that, you could be dealing with something else. Now, CPS Energy is getting its marching orders, again, from the state, from ERCOT, which is the Electric Reliability Council of Texas, and they oversee the entire grid for the state. Now, they have us in a level 3 energy emergency, which means that we're in a critical state when it comes to conservation. Now, looking at the CPS Energy map, you can see that tens of thousands of homes and businesses throughout our area are without power right now. Chances are many of these are due to those rolling outages. CPS Energy says these are scheduled outages that are meant to provide some relief to the overtaxed system. The other way to get through this is for all of us to do our part. They're encouraging everyone to turn down the thermostat at home to 68 degrees or lower. It's also recommended that you turn off and unplug any non-essential lights or appliances. And lastly, it helps to keep the shades or blinds closed at night to keep the heat from escaping. You can also open them in the daylight to help let the sun help warm your home. Now, again, these are things that we can do to help. CPS Energy says it has no idea how long it will have to go through with these rolling outages. Reporting live near downtown, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News. Okay. All right. Got to do it again every half hour.
Oh, good.
4:30.
Oh, good morning, guys. I'm Sarah Costa. I am live at the Alamo. I think I actually got the best gig all morning long because it is just picture perfect behind me. It is beautiful. It's a sight San Antonio is not used to seeing. Several inches. I measured earlier, anywhere from 3 to maybe about 6 inches of snow behind me at the Alamo, and it has been a popular spot all throughout the night for San Antonio natives, especially those who have never seen snow before. People have been coming by, taking pictures. I spoke with the 2 security guards here, and I want to say they're saints, really, because they've been out in this 12, 14 degree weather all night long, watching the crowds come and go. Earlier, they said there was a lot of people. They say it's been coming in waves. Right now, it's quiet. I see some people driving up right now, probably take video and pictures. Now, I do advise, like Samuel King and Justin have been saying, try not to drive anywhere. Don't come out here just to take a picture, because we drove in. It's really not ideal safe conditions at this time. The security guards told me the majority of people that are coming down here are walking because they're either at the hotels or they live here and they're coming to take those photos. But it is cold, guys. I have 2 puffy jackets on right now and I feel frozen. So I'm going to go ahead and send it back to you guys, Mark and Steph.
Sarah Costa live down at Alamo Plaza. Thank you. Of course, we encourage everybody to stay home today. There is no need to go out. Let us go out for you when we safely can. Our winter weather coverage will continue all day right here on KSAT, as well as KSAT.com. On our website, you'll find all the information regarding school and business closures, road conditions, and what to do about burst pipes, a whole lot more. You can even stream our newscast for up-to-date info in the event you lose power. You'll also be able to download the KSAT Weather Authority app for the latest weather information.
And time now is 4:13 and 11 degrees.
Well, obviously, we'll be talking about the cold weather and the ice all morning. Right now on the KSAT Connect page, you can share your favorite pictures with us. All you have to do is visit this page under the Weather tab, and you can log in. Your pictures could be featured right here on GMSA.
And taking a look outside with a live cam. Can't see much in that shot, but you step outside, there is snow out there. We had a chance to enjoy it last night. My daughter also made a snow angel. But if you're headed out on the roadways, if you have to, please be careful and take it slow. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. 4:17 on a Monday morning. It is a holiday morning and is a very cold and snowy morning. And most of the highways are closed, but there you go. You see someone out there on the roads here. This is 35 and Pine on TransGuide. So definitely seeing a lot less traffic. First of all, we don't have much traffic here at 4 a.m. anyway. But most of the highway should be considered closed, and especially you see here these overpasses. We've seen on some of the TransGuide cameras that the wind has been really blowing the snow around. So that's something we want to look at. Let's try and see if we have another one here. This is 410 at Fredericksburg Road. You see the flashing lights, the warning signals. Thankfully, no one is on the road right here. Well, actually, someone on the side road and the surface streets. TxDOT, it's going to be a few hours before TxDOT can get out here and clear some of these roads. And the side streets are probably going to be snow covered for a while. And again, with the temperatures that Justin is going to tell you about here coming up, you're going to see the snow not really going anywhere, especially on the side streets. So be careful if you have to head out. And with more on that, here's meteorologist Justin Horn.
Thank you, Samuel. And we're talking a little bit about the records with this system. You saw the snow out there. Pretty incredible to see. Ninth coldest temperature all time as of this morning, because we did get down to 10. Coldest temperature since 1989, where we got down to 6, and the largest snowfall since 1985. Of course, we all remember that one. So far, we picked up about 3 to 5 inches. And meteorologist Sarah Spivey's working on some of those totals. We're going to get them for you. But 3 to 5 inches for the most part here across San Antonio and much of Bexar County, really South Texas in general. Temperature-wise, well, we've come up a couple of degrees, so there's that. It's 12 here in San Antonio, 9 Bernie State, 7 in Comfort, 5 Los Maples, 13 Canyon Lake. And as we zoom out, some single digits up in the hill country. So we want to balance the fun of this with the sort of the seriousness of it. I know we all want to go outside, play in the snow. Don't blame you. I know the kids will be out this morning. Just keep in mind, these wind chills are in dangerous territory. -5 is what it feels like here in town. -3 in Kerrville, -5 in New Braunfels. So that's sort of dangerous levels there. We've got some energy issues as far as some of those rolling brownouts. So that's going to be a problem this morning. And we do have that wind chill warning in effect. That's going to go until noon today for wind chills that are below 0 much of the year. We don't see wind chill warnings here in South Texas. This is the first one ever issued, by the way. So that's what we're dealing with right now. As far as the forecast, maybe some single digits this morning. We're not going to warm up above freezing. So the sun will be out, but this is not going to melt. We're still going to have issues on the roads going into this afternoon, even into tonight. And oh, by the way, we have some more wintry weather headed our way by midweek. We're going to detail that forecast for you coming up here in just a bit. And we're going to continue to bring you live updates with the winter wonderland that is going on outside. And I think we're going to take a look at TransGuide maybe coming up. Mark and Stephanie.
I think so. We'll take over from here. We're going to see plenty of Justin Horn and Sarah Spivey this morning. Right now it's 4:20. It is 11 degrees out at the airport.
Yeah, it's 11 degrees, very cold. Be careful out there. Looking at TransGuide right now, there's I-10 at Callahan East, of course, full of snow. And we're going to check in with Samuel King in just a bit.
And what I'm hoping is the few folks that are out are first responders, maybe TxDOT folks, monitoring the roads. Most other folks should be home and off those roads. Again, you're going to be stuck on surface streets, and even that may be a dicey proposition. We'll be back. All right, folks, so one of the big stories this morning is the rolling outages now that are planned for our area due to the stress on the electric grid due to the extreme cold right now. 144,000 customers without power. This number is going to fluctuate. That's 177 outages scattered throughout the metro area. We will be keeping you updated on this all morning long.
Yeah, we did talk to Katrina Weber earlier, who was outside CPS Energy, and she said those rolling outages are happening about every 15 minutes. But if your outage is longer, it might be something else. All right, we're going to take it to break for now. We'll be right back.
City of San Antonio has issued a public safety alert urging residents to stay off the roads. Because of that, there will be no vaccines today for COVID-19.
Our Erica Hernandez will be joining us live from her home with the details. Hey, good morning, Erica.
Good morning, guys. Well, if you had an appointment for a vaccine at the Alamo Dome, those are being rescheduled. Those appointments will now be this Friday at your same appointment time. Now, if you were scheduled with WellMed, All their clinics are closed today, and clinic staff will be calling those with appointments to reschedule as well. Now, we also have to mention that testing sites will be closed. The Cuellar and Ramirez Community Center sites will be closed, as well as the community labs testing locations at the Bar Shop Jewish Community Center and Rackspace Technology. Testing at these locations are expected to resume tomorrow, but that could change if the weather doesn't get better. Now, we'll have that update if those sites remain closed tomorrow. You can stay up to date on all the closure coverage right now on KSAT.com. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
And good morning to you. It is Monday, February 15th, and by the grace of God, it is a holiday today because it could have been an absolute mess. Right now, it's kind of pretty to look at. We've had some gorgeous snowfall overnight.
Yeah, it's nice. First time ever for me to drive through the snow, but almost thank goodness because I was a little scared about slick roads, so that helped a little bit at this point in the morning.
You come down Fredericksburg towards downtown.
Yes.
Had they done any clearing on the roads, or was it still fresh snow?
It was sort of fresh because, believe it or not, there's actually some people driving.
Yes, right. And there's ice underneath that. So that's going to pose all sorts of problems this morning. We've got you covered, folks. First off, let's get our things started with schools and universities. There are schedule changes, and here are a few. We're going to have them all at the bottom of your screen, but UTSA's campuses closed until Wednesday at noon. All in-person and virtual classes and meetings are canceled. Texas State University will be closed through Wednesday, February 17th, 8 a.m. due to inclement weather. All Southwest ISD employees will work remotely today, and Northeast ISD will be remote-only learning today as well.
And many area businesses, doctors' offices, and other services will also be disrupted today. That includes University Health Express Med locations. They're closed. The downtown Robert B. Greene campus is also closed. All WellMed clinics are closed today. Staff will reach out to reschedule those appointments. Santikos theaters will be closed until at least Tuesday. Refund information can be found on their website. And there are many more details regarding changes for schools and businesses listed on our website at KSAT.com.
Well, let's get right to what a lot of you folks are tuning in for, and that's an update on the weather and the traffic. And Justin joins us now. First off, how much snow have we gotten in general around the area?
It's 3 to 5 inches. We're getting some reports of 5 inches up around New Braunfels, parts of San Antonio, 5 inches, and I measured about 3 inches here at the station. There's going to be some drifts higher than that, and if you've driven through it, Steph, you know that that is the case.
Yes, it is.
But the really big deal is we're used to about 111 around here, not 11 degrees above zero.
You know, it's interesting. Yesterday, it was the date 7 years ago, we got up to 92 on Valentine's Day. So it just gives you an idea of what we can deal with here in San Antonio and how sort of historic this storm is. I want to show you a picture here from the Riverwalk. Boy, that's a beautiful scene. And I know a lot of people want to get out and take a look this morning. Absolutely. Just bundle up. The temperatures are bitter cold, record cold. We're blowing out records here left and right with these numbers. We got down to 10 a little bit earlier. Wind chills are below zero, but we're going to continue to see scenes like this morning. Really beautiful shot there. Here's the live radar. Snow's done with. We are seeing a few light returns down around Cotulla, but snow is done here in San Antonio. There's still going to be blowing snow around here. And again, there's still those drifts. And the other thing we have to worry about here, now it is a lot of fun to go out and play in the snow, but temperatures are dangerously cold. You want to remember the pipes. Keep some of those faucets dripping because we're still going to have issues with that. And we mentioned the temperatures. 12 at the airport, 11 Helotes, 9 Bernie Stage. We got single digits on the map. We don't typically, if ever, see this here in South Texas. 12 in Austin, 13 New Braunfels. Wind chills below zero. Wind chill warnings in effect. Bundle up, layer up if you're going to be going outside. Dangerous situation out there. Okay, I've got a real question here for Samuel, and I think I probably know the answer. Not trying to throw you a curveball, but does San Antonio have any snowplows? I'm guessing the answer is no. The roads are going to stay snow covered for a while.
Well, they're going to be out there clearing the roads, so we'll try and get some more clarification on that, especially with TxDOT here. This is I-10 at Probant. We did just see a vehicle head by there, but the highways should be considered closed in San Antonio. Let's take a look here at 35 at Ben Zingelman. Also seen some people drive here over this overpass here. And thankfully, we do have the snow that is a little bit easier to drive on, but still that can be dangerous. So take it easy if you're one of those essential workers who has to head to work this morning. And you look at the map here, pretty much consider everything to be hazardous at the moment. Even though the snow isn't falling, guys, we still have going to have this snow on the roads here for a little bit, especially the surface streets. And we'll have more coming up.
Thank you, Samuel.
Well, conservation is key when it comes to electricity. CPS Energy says it is more than necessary to get through this cold weather.
That's why, in fact, we are in a state of emergency and you can expect rolling power outages. Our Katrina Weber is live near the CPS Energy service station downtown. And Katrina, you mentioned earlier that this is not something the local utility is ordering.
Well, that's right. This is a mandate coming from ERCOT, or the Electric Reliability Council of Texas. It oversees the state's electric grid, and right now it says that system is working overtime. It is ordering these rolling outages. It says that right now we are in a level 3 emergency, which means that conservation is critical. Now, as some folks are already noticing, there are rolling power outages going on right now in this area. CPS Energy says a rolling outage should last no more than about 10 or 15 minutes. They will rotate these among different neighborhoods throughout the service area. Now, if you have a longer outage, then that could mean a different problem. And CPS Energy says you will need to have some patience when it comes to fixing it.
We have crews that are ready to serve our community, and we ask that everyone be patient, as closed roads and highways are going to impact how they can serve our community safely.
Well, there are some ways that we all can help get through the situation. CPS Energy is asking that we set our home thermostats to 68 degrees or lower. Also, turn off and unplug any unnecessary appliances. And lastly, keep your blinds and shades closed at night to help keep the heat inside. Now, there's no word on just how long these rolling outages will last. Reporting live near downtown, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News. And also for more on what's going on out here, we turn to Sarah Acosta at the Alamo. Sarah.
Thank you, Katrina. Good morning. Yeah, and it's very calm here now that the snow flurries have calmed down. We're seeing a couple of flurries here and there. Really, it's just a beautiful sight to see. The Alamo, such an iconic, historic building here, a mission here. And people are coming, like you can see these people right behind me. Everyone I've seen so far has been walking here. Most are residents in the area or people staying at hotels. They're about to throw a snowball at these people right here. We're seeing a lot of people just coming and taking these photos, taking it all in, because this is a historical moment. We never see snow like this in San Antonio. I spoke with the 2 security guards who have been here all night in this cold weather. They said they have to be out here, watching to make sure people are, being respectful when they come visit the Alamo. And they said that it's come in waves, people coming and taking those pictures in front of the Alamo. One security guard said, yeah, we saw grown men get down and do snow angels in front of the Alamo. It's an exciting time, but we do want to remind people to be safe. The majority of people, like I said, haven't been driving down here because it's really not safe conditions, like Samuel King and Justin Horn have been saying all morning. But we do see a lot of people coming and getting those photos, and later on the show we've spoke to some of those people and you'll hear from them. Back to you guys. Stephanie, Mark.
All right, Sarah Costa live at the Alamo. Yeah, I saw an email last night. I guess San Antonio Fire was urging folks to stay inside and off of sidewalks and steps because we may have that snow, but underneath we have the ice from yesterday too, and that creates a slip and fall hazard, and they'd rather try to get out to folks, for much bigger incidents involving vehicles and things like that, if at all possible.
Yes, definitely. I mean, even with, like you said earlier, even with driving, the snow's okay, but under the snow is the ice.
It's still the ice, and that's probably going to be that way for a while, even though the snow has now come to an end, the snow that's falling. Yes. 439, 11 degrees.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the CPS Energy outage map. Right now, we have about a total of 144,585 customers affected, and it looks like active outages at 208.
And outside with live cam, it truly is a winter wonderland if you don't have to be out in it right now. Hard to see much of anything on this shot right now, but does seem appropriate that they left the holiday lights up on the world famous San Antonio Riverwalk. It seems more like Christmas today. Well, for all intents and purposes on your President's Day, San Antonio is shut down.
That's right. If you're waking up right now, you will be waking up to snow-filled roads, and that's what Samuel's been dealing with all morning.
It's a ghost town out there, isn't it, right now?
It should be, but we do have some activity out and about, Mark and Stephanie. This is I-10 at Callahan. And I suppose this is a good thing that they're pulled over and not moving, but there's a bunch of 18-wheelers there lined up there at that ramp because the ramps have been closed pretty much for the past 24 hours or so. Travel conditions still treacherous right now, and you might be able to see, I'll step back a little bit here so you can see the wind blowing around. So we know there are people who do have to head out. Maybe you're a doctor, maybe you're a first responder, maybe you work at a grocery store that's going to be opening later this morning. We've been hearing on social media like, Samuel, Justin, Sarah, we have to work. You know, I'm someone who has to work. My wife's a nurse. What can we do? The thing is, just be careful if you do have to head out, and especially dress for those conditions. A lot of red there on the map, and let's zoom in here downtown. The I-10 upper and lower levels are closed. The 35 upper levels closed. 281 overpass is closed as well. Some closures in 1604 and 35, also 151 and Loop 410. And here's icy conditions. Drive to the conditions, not the speed limit. That's still key. We've been saying it the past few days, but that's something else that's important. Also, make sure you have supplies in your vehicle, including portable chargers. And that goes for folks at home if you're dealing with these rolling outages. And here again is this view at I-10 at Callahan. You can see these 18-wheelers stacked up there, and they might be there for a while, Mark and Stephanie.
You're just reading my mind, Samuel. I don't think any of us would be surprised if these big rigs are still here in a matter of hours. I mean, hopefully they'll get a chance to move on, but we know that it's going to stay cold, so the snow and ice isn't going anywhere either.
Yeah, so they're not going anywhere. And we saw that one car. I wonder if that was an emergency responder passing by those 18-wheelers.
It's possible. But most folks are supposed to be off the roads right now. That goes without saying. 444, 11 degrees.
Let's look back outside with TransGuide this morning. A couple of pictures there. That's the one that Samuel was talking about at I-10 in Callahan. Here's 35 at Pine. Lots of snow there. And it looks like maybe some emergency response vehicles there as well. Again, if you're headed out, if you have to head out, be careful.
And here's a look at some more closures and changes for schools in the area. The complete list is running at the bottom of your screen and also online at KSAT.com.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for joining us. A historic weather event out there, to say the least.
And we've got team coverage for you all morning. As a matter of fact, as one of our teams in the studio is not only meteorologist Sarah Spivey, Justin Horn here. Sarah, we begin with you. And I want to start by sharing something you shared with us just a moment ago here in the studio. I thought was very telling.
Yeah?
You're not thinking any of this stuff's going to melt for most of the week?
I don't think that the majority of it will melt until potentially Thursday afternoon, Friday.
Wow.
So we're still going to see a lot of the snow on the ground for quite some time, snow on the roads as well. So we're going to have to really be careful. Don't travel today. We're going to let TxDOT do its thing and try to help clear the roads a little bit. But even tomorrow, you know, it's going to be cold in the morning. We'll be near 11 degrees tomorrow morning, and we'll stay pretty much below freezing all day tomorrow too. I'm showing you the radar right now because I want to show you where the snowfall is at the moment. It has moved on off to the east. Gonzales, the snow is just ended for you. It's pushing over toward the Houston area. We do have some of our communities that are still dealing with some snowfall. That's mainly along 35 toward Cotulla at the moment. But generally, we are all seeing the snow already ended in the area, and what a snowfall snowfall it was. What I'll do here for a second is I'll take a quick look at estimated snowfall totals, and the key word there being estimated, because a lot of this is actually a lot greater than what I'm going to show you here. Let me go ahead and cue one of the areas that we know got at least about 4.5 to 5 inches of snow. Right now it's showing about 3. So what we need from you at home is we need you to help us in showing us how much snow that you have in the area. The way that you can do that is by getting a tape measure, or preferably a yardstick, and measuring to the nearest 1/10 of an inch of snowfall. Give us your location, tell us where you are, and drop a picture in our storm pins. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you our KSAT Connect, rather. These are some of the pictures here. It's called Pins on the Weather app. This is out in the northwest section of town. Notice how there's a lot of snow drifts, the snow that was carried by the wind. You're not going to want to measure there. You're actually going to want to measure in a flat space or a flat surface that hasn't been that affected by the wind. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually read off some official snowfall totals from the National Weather Service for you. I've got them written down here, and I want to read them off for you just so I can give exact numbers. New Braunfels, 5 inches of snow. Bandera, 4.5 inches of snow. New Braunfels, 4.5 inches of snow. Geronimo, up in Comal County, 5 inches of snow. Castle Hills, 4.5. Bulverde, 4.5. And Hollywood Park, 4 inches. So we're looking at more along the lines of 3 to 6 inches of snow in and around San Antonio. And as I mentioned, it's going to stay cold for quite a few days here. Let's go ahead and check in with Justin Horn for a look at the forecast. Justin?
Yes, extended cold period here. We're going to have a record amount of time, I think, below freezing. Some of the records so far: 10th coldest temperature all time here in San Antonio, 11. We could dip a little bit below that this morning. Coldest temperature since December 23rd, 1989. That's when we got down to 6. And this is our largest, greatest snowfall since 1985. We all remember 1985, 3 to 5 inches. Obviously doesn't compare snow-wise to that, but this is the largest snowfall since then. Visible satellite radar here. Actually, this is the infrared satellite with the radar. We see a lot of snow pushing into East Texas now. It's east of Dallas, east of San Antonio. Still seeing some snow around Houston. Yeah, Houston's getting snow. Brownsville got a little bit of snow last night. This is a historic system in the sense that cold air has plunged all the way into deep South Texas. Current numbers: 12 in San Antonio, 9 Waco, 4 Abilene, 0 right now in Lubbock. Negative numbers on the map. Wind chills negative. -5 is what it feels like here in San Antonio. 5 below 0. That is our wind chill. As we go outside right now, 12 at the airport, 10 at Randolph. Northwesterly winds at 6. Winds are trying to calm down a little bit, but they're still going to be strong enough to where we're going to be dealing with, again, those wind chill values. You see the winds there out of the northwest at about 16 miles per hour. Forecast: temperatures stay really cold. Yes, the sun will be out, but this snow is not going to melt. Northerly winds 10 to 15 miles per hour, calming a little bit during the afternoon. And as we look at the forecast here, we'll see the clear skies. But as we get into tomorrow, clouds will start to increase again towards the evening hours, and then we'll see some wintry precip redevelop, especially Wednesday morning. Some freezing rain possible even into, I'd say, midday Wednesday before it turns over to rain. So we are not done yet with this wintry weather. And we mentioned below freezing. We've already been 58 hours below freezing. We can go 108 hours, which would tie the record set back in 1951. So this is a prolonged event. And those pipes, they could burst. I mean, that's an issue we're going to deal with, actually, here in South Texas. As we look at the 7-day forecast, 33 tomorrow, there's that 60% chance of wintry mix. Another very slight chance Thursday morning. And then finally, by the weekend, guys, we're back in the 60s. That feels like a far cry from where we are now, but we will get there eventually.
So the key theme is historic cold, record cold.
Yes.
That this stuff's not going to melt, and we are going to get a second system this week that could affect us all over again.
Unbelievably, yes. And this time it would be freezing rain.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow, that's a lot. All right, thank you guys. Appreciate it, Sarah and Justin. 4:53, 12 degrees now.
And as we go to break, here is a look at the CPS energy outage map. Right now, we have about 173 active outages, but about 122,740 customers affected. And then more on our winter weather coverage coming up.
Morning, everyone. 4:56, just before 5 o'clock in the morning. And here's a look at the situation. Again, we have been starting to show you this here. This is I-10 at Callahan, near where I-10 and 410 come together. You see these 18-wheelers parked here, and they may not be going anywhere for a while. Those ramps are closed, and they have been closed since yesterday. And most of the highways are considered closed as well. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. We've been seeing some vehicles here at 35 and Pine, too. But again, if you are someone who's an essential worker needs to head out, you have to be careful, especially on those overpasses. The snow might have stopped, but it's still pretty dangerous out there. We still have some high winds blowing the snow around, and as we've been mentioning, it's not going to melt. As you see someone heading by there, some sort of truck there, and you see the snow just blowing there, guys. So this is what we're going to have to encounter. Again, the snow may not be falling, but it can still affect your visibility out there.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Cold temperatures in place, and we've got snow totals for you coming up.
And roads treacherous right now, even though some of the snow is coming to an end. We'll give you an update on all the conditions around the area.
And outside with live cam, we've had snow almost everywhere in the KSAT 12 viewing area in the overnight hours. It has blanketed our city. And as I said earlier, thank goodness it's a holiday, because hopefully most folks are at home and are staying home. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday. It is February 15th.
Thanks for joining us this morning, and I hope you're watching from inside your home, all bundled up nice and warm. A lot of going on this morning.
There is. We're going to talk more about traffic and weather coming up. We've got team coverage all morning long.
But for now, let's take a look at some of those closures we're seeing today. Many school closures and changes. San Antonio ISD will be closed today and tomorrow. All schools will be closed both days, and there will not be remote instruction in that district. Students will continue to have access to district's digital learning playground and the ClassLink portal. Now, Schertz-Cibolo Universal City ISD today will continue to be a holiday for students. All professional development scheduled for Monday will move to a virtual format for campus and district staff scheduled to take part. South San ISD students and staff will attend virtually. Southwest ISD staff will also work from home today.
All right, so many area businesses, doctors' offices, and other services will also be disrupted today. Amazon delivery stations in the area have now been closed due to the extreme winter weather. Customers are able to track their packages through the Amazon app. Today's COVID-19 vaccination appointments at the Alamo Dome and WellMed clinics have been rescheduled. The vaccine at Wonderland Mall will also be closed all day today. And until noon today, Via's service will be unavailable. When service returns this afternoon, buses will run on a Sunday schedule, and that is set to go through Wednesday of this week. There are many more details regarding changes for schools and local businesses. They're all listed right now at KSAT.com. Let's take a look right now. You're looking at the status board out there of the arriving and departing flights from San Antonio International Airport. As we scroll through, the most common phrase you're seeing right there is canceled. No big surprise. We did see a few that are still scheduled to go possibly later today or tomorrow, but assume that most flights in and out of San Antonio International have not only been affected, might be delayed, but are most likely canceled.
And for now, let's go ahead and check in with Justin.
Hey there, guys. We are ready to go this time. And I want to show you first some look at some pictures on our KSAT Connect. And by the way, enjoy this moment. Take it in, because very rarely do we see temperatures down to 11 with snow on the ground. And by the way, meteorologist Sarah Spivey here with me working this morning. We're getting things taken care of in this historic moment. Let's, if we can, take a look at KSAT Connect and show you some of those pictures. Well, first we're going to start with live cam. And we've got 11 degrees at the airport, 11 at Stinson, 12 at Kelly, and 11 at Randolph. Now we're going to take a look at some KSAT Connect pictures. There you go. Beautiful shot. This is from, I believe, the west side of San Antonio. You can see the snow piling up. It says it looks like daylight. That happens. The white snow, yeah, it does look that way. And this snow, by the way, very fine and powdery. It's kind of hard to make snowballs, but it will compact a little bit more. And you'll be able to have some good snowball fights, build some snowmen. Just be safe, because temperatures are warm out there. And you know, that's how things are going this morning. We'll get that off the radar and show you that we do have the snow moving out. It's moving away from us. So the clouds are starting to clear too. We still have a few clouds for San Antonio, but those will clear east. And we'll have sun today. It's not going to be enough to melt the snow. And we were talking about it last half hour. This snow can stick around even into Friday, especially in those shady spots. So just be aware of that. This is going to be a long-term situation. 9 in Bernie right now, 7 Comfort, 7 in Kerrville, 10 at Randolph, 15 down in Pleasanton. Still got single digits in the Hill Country, 14 Kennedy, 16 in Carrizo Springs, and then you factor in the winds. We've got decent winds out of the northwest, anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour, so that creates a wind chill that is below zero. Another map I never thought I'd be showing here in South Texas, but almost everybody now below zero when it comes to those wind chills, with the exception of Pleasanton and Beeville, but it feels like 2 there. It is cold, and we know that. Here's the forecast for today. We may eventually drop down to about 9 this morning before we start to warm up, and I put warm up in quotes because we may only make it into the mid-20s today. That's why this is not going to melt. We do have snowfall totals for you. Sarah Spivey's got those. She's been taking those down. We're thinking 3 to 5 inches, but we'll have some more specific numbers coming up for you here in just a little bit. Important though, the roads still in very, very bad shape. Samuel King's got the latest on that.
Thank you, Justin. I was just watching this view here at I-10 in Callahan. One of the 18-wheelers there is on the move. So we're going to see what's going to be happening with that driver there. But most of them are still parked just because the conditions overnight were so hazardous. And the on-ramps are closed, and you should consider most of the highways in the region closed as well, as we see that 18-wheeler take off there, but we'll keep an eye on that. But that just gives you an idea of the situation. A lot of wind and blowing snow still this morning, so if you're someone who is an essential worker has been heading out, that's something to look out for. This is a look at the map. A lot of orange, a lot of yellow, a few red here and there. Thankfully, traffic is still relatively light. Let's start downtown with some of the closures. The upper and lower levels of I-10, the upper level 35, the 281 overpass closed. Heading up to the north and east here, 1604 and 35, there's some closures. They've been mentioning they got about, 4 to 5 inches of snow up in New Braunfels. 35 reported some snow cover, 46 as well. So a lot of dangerous conditions. If you're someone who needs to head out, especially our medical essential, some of our military personnel, again, make sure you're driving to the conditions, not the speed limit. We'll keep an eye on things and get back to you guys in just a moment. Mark, Stephanie?
A lot of ground to cover. Thank you very much, Samuel. Well, there's a good chance you may find yourself in the dark at some point today. CPS Energy says it's under orders to conduct rolling power outages.
That's because the cold weather is causing the state's electric grid to work overtime. Our Katrina Weber is live outside the CPS Energy Service Center near downtown.
Katrina, what should you do if you experience one of these outages?
Well, there's really not a whole lot you can do. Now, if you do have some electronics that might be affected by a sudden loss of power, then you might want to unplug those in advance. But these rolling outages are unavoidable. They're also temporary. They last only about 10 or 15 minutes. Well, let's take a look at the CPS Energy outage map, and you'll see that there are tens of thousands of people who are affected by outages right now, homes and businesses without power. It's a safe bet that a lot of these are due to those rolling outages. They were ordered by ERCOT, or the Electric Reliability Council of Texas, as a way to give the state's overworked electric grid a bit of a break. This is not something that CPS Energy ordered. But here's what the rest of us need to do to help. We're being asked to lower our home thermostats to 68 degrees or lower. Turn off or unplug any unnecessary appliances, and also keep the blinds and shades closed at night to keep the heat inside your home. Again, you can expect a rolling outage to last about 10 to 15 minutes. Anything longer than that, and you might be experiencing a whole different problem. But CPS Energy says you will have to have some patience because these icy roads are also dangerous for the crews, and it will take them quite a while to get where they're going. So they're going to have to take the roads pretty slow. Now, for more on what is happening out on the streets, we turn to our Sarah Acosta, who is at the Alamo. And Sarah, how's it going down there?
You know, it's pretty calm now. We're just seeing a couple of flurries. When we drove downtown, it was a ghost town, and it was beautiful. Downtown San Antonio, it's 11 degrees and there's a big blanket of white snow over it. It's something we never see here. So because we never see this, a lot of people have been coming in waves to take pictures at the historic Alamo right behind us. But I want to commend this security guard. He's been hiding from us all morning, doesn't like the camera too much. He's been out here since 10 o'clock last night. He told us, you know, he hasn't been able to go home. This is his job, to stand guard, protect the historic Alamo. He's the one that told us, you know, we've been seeing people coming in waves. The majority of these people are not driving because driving conditions aren't safe. A lot of them are just residents who live nearby, and they're walking in this 10-degree weather to get these pictures. He said a lot of them are also hotel guests that are coming and taking pictures. You know, just a reminder, if you do want to take your picture here, maybe not the best idea to drive out here. We've seen very few people drive out here, but we have been talking to people all morning. Hey, why did you want to come out? It's 11 degrees out here. It's not the most ideal weather. And they say, you know, it's just something that they've never experienced. The majority of people we spoke to have never seen snow in their life. Reporting live from the Alamo, I'm Sarah Acosta, KSAT 12 News. Mark and Stephanie.
Thank you, Sarah. All bundled up right there.
Right now it is 5:10, 11 degrees.
Let's take a look at the CPS Energy outage map, and looking at the latest right there, looks like we have about 186 outages with a total of 136,542 customers affected.
We will be talking about the cold weather and ice all morning long. Right now on the KSAT Connect page, you can share your favorite pictures with us. All you have to do is visit the page under the weather tab and log in. Your pictures could wind up right here on air on GMSA.
And taking a look outside with live cam. Can't see much in that shot, but that's the story of this morning. A lot of outages around the city, but if you do step outside, you will see that snow. It is 11 degrees out there. If you have to head out, be careful. We'll be right back.
Well, welcome back. As you know, we are dealing with snow out there today. It's definitely beautiful to look at, and people are sending in their pictures to our KSAT Connect feature on our weather app. So I just want to take you through some of those. This one is on the south side of Loop 410 there, the entire block coated with snowfall. Let's go ahead and take a look at out towards Seguin. We've had wide-ranging numbers of snowfall from Seguin. This one is about 2.5 inches of snow. We've seen some reports of up to 4 inches of snow. And by the way, that's generally what we're seeing out there. 3 to 6 inches of snow widespread around San Antonio, around the KSAT 12 viewing area. All of us waking up to snow this morning. I love this picture. This looks like a picture that would come from my grandparents' house in Iowa, their back porch. But no, this is in San Antonio, Texas. Absolutely breathtaking near the Westover Hills area. Gorgeous. You can see how the snow is really piled up on those elevated surfaces. And then we've also got snow drifts. Snow drifts, by the way, if you're not familiar with the term, it's snow carried by wind that piles up. So if you do want to send us pictures into our KSAT Connect feature, which I would really appreciate, the best way to do it is to find a flat surface, not those snow drifts that usually gather on furniture, gather on the sides of your house or things like that. But maybe go out to the porch and find a very flat area and measure, as this person did out at Westover Hills, measuring about 4 3/4 inches of snowfall out there. So again, about 3 to 6 inches of snow is what we're seeing around San Antonio. We have one report in New Braunfels of 5 inches of snowfall. This is going to have a hard time totally melting off until about Thursday or Friday. So for now, let's go ahead and turn it over to meteorologist Justin Horn, who's going to give us our chilly forecast.
Thank you, Sarah. Went out and grabbed some of the snow. You know, what's interesting about the snow is it's extremely powdery. A lot of times we get the wet, big flakes. And we got some big flakes last night, but it's usually not this powdery. It's kind of like a raspa. If you look at it, scoop it up. Just need a little flavoring. But that's kind of what we're dealing with. And it's because those temperatures are so cold, it's more of a powdery snow out there. And as we look at the big picture, the snow is moving east into East Texas. It's moving away from us. We still got a few returns down to the south, but I think those stay away from us. We're actually starting to get some clearing too. So the sun will be out, but the temperatures, I mean, these are record lows. We're blowing out records by 10 degrees here. The record low for today is 21. We're down to 11, just to give you some perspective. So this is record-setting, historic. 11 here in town, 3 San Angelo, -2 in Midland, -8 in Amarillo. And you look at the wind chills, even worse. Good northerly wind, feels like -4 outside. So if you are going to be playing in the snow, wear those layers. We look at live cam here. It's pretty dark, likely because there's power outages out there. 12 at Kelly, 10 at Randolph, and you see the winds there, northwesterly 10 to 15. We talked about those temperatures a little bit. They're cold. You look at the winds, 16 miles per hour in New Braunfels. That's going to create quite a wind chill. Same story here in San Antonio. And yes, those wind chills are definitely chilly. Forecast for today does not warm up much. We're expecting wind chills to stay below 0 through, I'd say, at least lunchtime. Even with the sun out, we may only get up into the mid to upper 20s. Snow is not going to melt, at least that much. And that snow, as Sarah said, could stick around through Friday at this point. Our forecast calls for clear skies today. Clear skies tonight, which is important. Temperatures are going to plummet again. We may be down near 11, 10 degrees. Those pipes, they're still going to be having some issues, I think, with these numbers. And as we get into Tuesday or early Wednesday morning, late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning, we could see more freezing rain around the area. So we're not done with the wintry weather yet. I think by midday Wednesday, it switches over to rain and then moves out. But we're expecting another round. Pretty incredible. And then we mentioned below freezing, 58 hours. We could go 108 hours below freezing, which would tie a record set back in 1951. So this is a prolonged event. 7-day forecast. There's your 60% chance of a wintry mix. Another very small chance Thursday morning. And then we finally get back to more typical South Texas weather. 60s this weekend. But, you know, enjoy it. Take pictures. This is kind of a once-in-a-lifetime thing, I think, for some of us. Beautiful, but be careful.
I think that's good advice.
It is great advice. And we know you've taken care of your outdoor pets. You've got them sheltered. Just make sure they have fresh water. That bowl's going to freeze over and over again. 519, 11 degrees.
Now let's take a look back outside with TransGuide. There's Loop 410 at Jackson Keller looking pretty white there. Also I-35 and Pine, a lot of snow. If you have to head out, of course, just take it very slow and be careful. And there's I-10 at Medical, almost blanketed.
It's almost a whiteout. But it's so weird because we've had so much snowfall. It is kind of bright out there this morning. It's almost like the city lights and the street lights are reflecting off of all that snow.
That's true. The lights that are working. We have a lot of outages around the city. We're going to check in with Samuel after the break.
Welcome back. It's 5:22. I'm Samuel King with another update here. This is the view from 151 and 410. You see the ice on the camera. It's been there a while. There are a lot of issues on 151 yesterday, so much so that was one of the first highways to shut down. So definitely, hopefully not many people are out there right now because all of the highways and roads in the area are snow covered. And let's go here to I-10 at Callahan. We've been talking about these 18-wheelers here. We've seen some of them on the move, but most of them have pulled over because the conditions were pretty hazardous overnight and we still have some wind and blowing snow. A lot of red and orange on the map, and we actually have a crash reported. This is I-10 at Ralph Fair. So again, not many people on the roads, but you could still have some crashes and incidents, and this is sort of the first big one we've heard about this morning in Leon Springs area. So again, be careful if you have to head out, and most of you should not be on the roads. And our Stephen Cavazos has been trying to move and navigate around. He reports Broadway and Austin Highway closed. So that's something else to keep in mind. The side streets, not just the highways, are closed as well. Mark, Stephanie?
We'll look out for that. Thank you, Samuel. Time now is 5:23 and 11 degrees for now.
As we go to break, here's a look at the status board at San Antonio International Airport. And most, not all flights, but most flights are canceled today. If you do want to check ahead, go to flysanantonio.com. We'll also keep an eye on things for you for now.
Millions of people are saying yes to Allegra, including the experts. It's the #1 allergist-recommended brand for non-drowsy relief. Allegra works 2 times faster than Claritin, so you can get going first thing. It lasts up to 6 times longer than Benadryl, giving you relief through the late shift. And unlike Zyrtec, Allegra is non-drowsy for all your non-stop adventures. Join the millions saying yes to Allegra. And for kids, try Children's Allegra, the #1 allergist recommended non-drowsy brand.
At Panera, when we make a pizza, we don't just make a pizza. We use fresh, clean ingredients to make a masterpiece. Order our new pepperoni and 4-cheese flatbread pizzas for delivery or pickup today. Panera.
Crafting our authentic fragrances begins with ingredients from the earth to create fragrances infused with natural essential oils. Airwick Scented Oils connect to nature.
Our winter weather coverage will continue all day long right here on KSAT as well as KSAT.com. You will find all the information regarding school and business closures, road conditions, what to do about burst pipes, and a whole lot more. You can even stream our newscast for up-to-date information in the event you lose power. Also, be sure to download the KSAT Weather Authority app for the latest info there.
Yes, it's been a very eventful morning. For now, it is 5:27 and 11 degrees.
Well, believe it or not, many of the TransGuide cameras, their feeds are frozen right now. So we're going to show you some of the ones that are live and active. It is a ghost town out there because of the widespread snowfall. All the ramps and major freeways are closed or should be closed. The problem is that the surface streets are not in great shape. We had overnight snow, and underneath we have the ice. More from Samuel and Justin and Sarah coming up.
Hi, good morning. It is Monday, February 15th.
We're dealing with some epic weather out there. Many students across South Texas will not have school today because of the bitter cold, the snow, and the ice we have in many areas. Let's go and take a look at the closures and delays. North Side and San Antonio ISD closed today. Northeast ISD, South San, and South Side ISD will all have remote instruction.
There are also many more districts that are closed or on remote learning today. The school district should have reached out to you with a more detailed plan. So be sure to check your emails and the school websites. You can also find a list on our website at KSAT.com, and we will have the district closures on the scroll at the bottom of the screen throughout this newscast.
Well, if you're just now tuning in, we have team coverage. Let's go over to our team meteorologist and get the very latest. Good morning.
Thanks, sir. Let's first start with KSAT Connect, and we've got some great pictures coming in. Snow angels all over the place. A lot of snow out there. We're estimating about 3 to 5 inches around the area, so that's certainly enough to have some snowball fights, make some snow angels. And once the sun comes up here in a little while, we'll have a better view of the city that is now covered in snow. Dangerous side to all this, it is cold out there. Wind chills are below 0. So if you're going to be outside for any extended time, know that you've got to bundle up. Wear several layers, but this is just one example. We've got so many great pictures coming in on KSAT Connect. We're going to try to show as many as we can coming up here in the next few hours. Records so far, and this has been a record-setting event. 10th coldest temperature all time here in San Antonio, down to 11. Coldest temperature since December 23rd, 1989. That was 6 degrees. So we're sort of within that range, if you will. And this is our largest snowfall since 1985. And we all remember the 1985 event. So it kind of shows you how it compares here. And this is the satellite over the last 12 hours, satellite and radar. You can see that the snow started out there west of Del Rio, made its way across the viewing area, and we had a burst of heavy snow here in San Antonio and all of the viewing area. Everybody got snow. Everybody got accumulating snow. And that hasn't been so good in the hill country because we were already having power problems there. Probably some more. Power outages a problem. They're going to have more on that here in just a second, but keep in mind some of these are just temporary. The power will come back on. Outside right now, 11 degrees. We're starting to see some clearing. Northwesterly winds at 13 miles per hour, gusting to 28, and that is why we have wind chill values below 0. These are area temperatures. 13 Canyon Lake, 7 Bernie Stage, 7 in Comfort, 11 at Stinson, 7 in Kerrville, 5 Rock Springs, 16 Creosote Springs. These numbers are, I mean, we just don't see this very often. That's the bottom line. And there's a look at the winds. We mentioned pretty strong out of the north and west, and that puts wind chill values into the negative numbers. This is a map we probably won't see for a very long time, getting the numbers below 0. We have a wind chill warning in effect. We've never even had one of those here. Historic in that sense, too. We're going to have much more on the winter weather, what it looks like, snowfall totals, pictures, of course, coming up here in just a bit. But we got to talk about the roadways, not in great shape. Samuel King has more on that. How's it going?
All right, Justin, good morning. Here's a look at I-10 at Callahan. We've been seeing these 18-wheelers parked out here. We're taking a tour. We've got more of the TransGuide cameras online, so we're just going to let it roll here for a little bit. Look, 410 in Fredericksburg. The common theme here, the highways still are snow covered. TxDOT is planning to go out in the next several hours here to do what they can to clear this, but with these temperatures, it's still going to be cold for a while. So we do have some closures at the I-10 upper and lower levels, 35 upper level 281 also closed as well. Heading to the north here, we did have a crash here at I-10 at Ralph Fair Road. That indicator is clear, but you can still see travel is much slower than normal on I-10. Stay off the roads if you can. Also here to the north and east, we have 1604 and 35, some closures, especially on 1604, also 35. And we're going to go up here to Comal County, where they've had 5 inches of snow, 4 to 5 inches of snow, according to the weather team. You can see definitely slow travel there. And Justin mentioned the hill country. We didn't want to leave them out. A lot of closures popping up here, including State Highway 16 to 90. There's some closures. So hazardous travel up here. And again, they've had issues with ice over the past few days. So this is a pretty dangerous situation up here. So you especially in this area, if you can't be on the roads, if you don't need to be on the roads, you shouldn't be. And we'll have much more coming up. Mark, Stephanie.
Thank you, Sammy. The cold weather putting a big strain on the state electric grid. CPS Energy among utilities all across the state that are being ordered to conduct rolling power outages. That means you will probably be in the dark and cold at some point today. Our Katrina Weber is live at the CPS Energy Service Center near downtown, trying to stay bundled up and warm. Katrina, good morning. You mentioned these are relatively short outages, so there's no need to panic, right?
That's right. Definitely no need to panic, and really no need to call CPS Energy. These are scheduled outages. They last about 10 to 15 minutes. Now, if your home is without electricity for a lot longer than that, then you may have a different kind of problem. However, many people have been getting a taste of these rolling outages already today. We saw tens of thousands of people, in fact, who lost electricity. Again, this is not CPS Energy's decision. This is a mandate from ERCOT, which is the Electric Reliability Council in Texas. And what we have been told is that these outages will go on for a while. The ERCOT oversees the state's electric grid. It says that we are in a level 3 emergency, and this is a way to give the system a bit of a break. Now, CPS Energy says if you experience an outage that lasts longer than that, then be prepared to wait a bit longer than usual, because crews also will be traveling along these icy roads. In the meantime, there are ways that we can help to ease the burden on our own. We're being asked to lower our thermostats to 68 degrees or lower. You can also turn off and unplug any unnecessary appliances. And it's also a good idea to keep your blinds and shades closed at night to keep the heat from escaping from your home. Now, again, the rolling outages are unavoidable but temporary. If you do have some sort of electronics or something that might be damaged by a sudden loss of electricity, then it may be a good idea to unplug them in advance. Reporting live near downtown, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. The unusual weather also putting a strain on travel plans. Dozens of flights have been delayed or canceled because of the extreme conditions. And right now, our Stephen Cavazos is on the road trying to get to the airport. Now, Stephen, it sounds like it's incredibly difficult even making your way there.
You know, Stephanie, I think the best way to describe this is just tedious travel at this point. Now, just to give you guys some context, we are on Broadway headed toward 410. It looks like we're getting a little bit close right now. But, you know, on our way to the airport, we've been running into several roadblocks to get to our destination. For instance, Austin Highway going north on Broadway was closed. So, you know, we took an alternative route on Ogden at Olmos Basin to get to Jones-Maltsberger. But, you know, that didn't work out for us there. So, you know, just to give our viewers also a little bit more context, our photographer Asian is taking the wheel right now in a 4x4, and we've been taking it very, very slow right now, probably about 15 miles or so, and we're just looks like we're getting a little bit closer on to 410 at this time. But nonetheless, it's definitely not the wisest to be out at this time. Even if you're in a 4x4 like us, we're taking it very slow. You know, Samuel and TxDOT are discouraging travel on the roads right now, but if you absolutely have to head to the airport, this is why you need to be giving yourself some extra time. You know, just take a look at what's right in front of us, just some snowy conditions out on the roadways. And again, I'm looking at, you know, Asian right now, just going a little bit above 10 as we're just trying to navigate our way to get to the airport. But again, several roadblocks on our way to that destination right now. And again, Stephanie, Mark, I think the best way to describe this travel right now is no better word than tedious. Back to you guys.
All right, Stephen Cavazza's trying to make their way to San Antonio International Airport. Before we move on real quick, I want to make an observation here. I think because the snow was so heavy all night long and we had the winds, it doesn't look like TxDOT has done any treating or plowing in the overnight hours.
Oh, in the roadways.
At all.
Yes.
So now that the snow has come to an end, maybe they can start to tackle things. We know it's not going to warm up, but it looks like this was a massive undertaking, and so we're waiting for some action out there.
Yeah, so we see some emergency vehicles out there on a TransGuide camera, so maybe that's part of it.
But we haven't seen any plows or anything yet on the major streets or even on those surface streets or frontage roads. Hey, there is snow at the Alamo this morning, which is certainly a bit of an unusual sight.
And a beautiful sight. Our Sarah Costa is there live at the Alamo. And tell me, you said there were some people taking pictures earlier. What are you seeing out there right now?
Pretty much the same thing, Stephanie and Mark. You know, it's been calm because it is only about 5:30 in the morning, and it is like 10 to 11 degrees. So it's really, really cold and not safe driving conditions. But we have seen people who are staying in nearby hotels or who live in the downtown area braving the cold and walking to the Alamo to take these photos. I was talking to a security guard who said they've been coming in waves. He said he saw grown men getting down and doing snow angels because they're just so excited to see snow, especially in front of something as historical as the Alamo. You know, we have people who are just coming to take photos because this is just such a cool thing. And it is really, really cold. You know, people want to come and they want to play in the snow, but this is really not ideal playing in the snow weather. I have 2 puffy jackets on, about 5 pairs of pants on, and I'm only going to stay out here for 10 minutes at a time, and then I run back to the vehicle to get warm. My co-anchor, Max Massey, he actually texted me and he said, hey, you guys should build a snowman right in front of the Alamo. And I said, that takes a lot of time and it's very, very cold, but I will bend down here. Like Justin said earlier, there is definitely enough snow for a good snowball fight.
There
so
you
Mark
go.
and Stephanie, back to you guys.
But what Max isn't telling you, though, is it's so dry, it's really hard to make it into snowballs or snowman at all. So you may want to build a snowman.
You saw it just
kind of comes apart.
Yeah, it just completely comes apart.
And now you made your camera person mad by throwing it right at the lens.
I think Steven's okay with it.
I know. Sorry, guys. There we go.
All right, Sarah Costa out there at the Alamo. Thank you very much. It is a wonderland out there at a truly Texas treasure. We do get snow around here from time to time, but it's the bitter cold that's really kind of changed the game.
Yes, and I've never seen snow like this, though. This is different for us.
It's been a while. I mean, I know we had 13.5 inches back in like 1985, so it has been a while. 542, 11 degrees, folks.
Wind, ice, and snow have hit the hill country. David Sears has more after the break on what to look out for if you're heading outside.
Yeah, we've been trying to check in with David all morning, but and we have crews kind of checking in from home. But again, we've had those scattered outages. But take a look at your screen right now. The snow has moved out, clearing out, but bitter cold, and all the major roads are shut down. And it's going to be like that for a while, folks. The extreme winter weather has affected the entire state, including the Texas Hill Country.
And our David Sears will give us a look at what's happening in Comal County.
Hey, good morning and welcome to the Texas Hill Country. It's cold and it's very dark. We just lost electricity here at my house just a few minutes ago. It's not even one of those rolling brownouts or blackouts. This is some definite loss of electricity for a while because it's been well over 15 minutes. I believe that's what they said they were going to do for about 15 minutes or so. So here we are. Let me just kind of give you a sense with my floodlight here of what it looks like out here in the hill country. This is what it's looked like out here in South Texas with the snow. The wintry mix started about 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, and then last night it hit us pretty hard, and that's about 5 inches or so. Let me see if I can, well, you can see right there on the fire pit. And that was the rain gauge. It goes up to about 5 inches, so you can see how deep the snow is. It's covered up all the numbers on the rain gauge. Let me show you some video of what it looked like since Thursday. Remember we had all that rain this last Thursday? And we just got inundated with that rain and then with ice. All the trees, all the plants on the ground and the shrubbery, and even the cactus took a major hit from all that ice. That's prickly pear cactus with some ice on the needles. Yeah, that'll get you twice now. So that's what it looked like since last Thursday night. We've been dealing with this ice situation, and once again, we're dealing with a serious blackout. Yep, it's still snowing, or at least it's blowing off the trees. The wind is blowing hard, and we're completely in the dark.
All right, David Sears filing that report from up home near Canyon Lake.
Yes, far away. So we're closer to home. I live pretty close to the station. We also saw snow last night.
So you went to bed and then you woke back up to spend some time outdoors with the family, right?
Yes, it wasn't planned that way. We went to bed at a decent hour, Mom. But, you know, my husband woke me up because it was snowing out there. And so, of course, we promised our daughter, little Rooney, that we would wake her up. And it was, so the snow, I don't know if you could tell, the snow is coming down at this point. It's 11:30 at night, and she's just having a blast. She's just like, look, I'm going to make a snow angel. Look, I think it's right. Yeah, right.
There she goes. Go, Rooney. Yes.
She had a blast.
Perfect.
We didn't let her make like a full-fledged snowman just because we wanted her to get back to bed, and I wanted to get some Z's before I came into work.
I was going to say, she's missing the bottom part of the angel, but then she got it.
Yeah, she did. She wanted a complete one. But yeah, she had a great time. And a lot of our neighbors were out. Well, up until this point, it was pretty late. We were kind of like the only people on the street.
But again, looking at this video, Steph, it is amazing because all the lights in the city were reflecting off the widespread snow. Look how bright it is outside. It almost looks like the middle of the morning.
You're right. It looks like it's morning, but nope, 11:30 at night, almost midnight.
Well, she's never going to forget this.
No, she won't. You know what's funny is it was 85. I was about Rooney's age, maybe a little bit older when it snowed here, but I don't remember it like this
like
much.
This.
Yeah, no.
Well, that wound up being over like 13 inches, so I think we're cool with 3 to 6 inches here or there. It's enough to still have fun, right?
Yes, yeah. She had a great time, and we'll take that, definitely.
All right. Great night for sure, and you guys were able to enjoy it safely as a family.
We bundled up.
549, 11 degrees.
Let's take a look outside with Transgate right now. You see that snow still out there on the roadways, although the snow's not coming down. It's stuck on the ground. There's I-35 at Ben's Engelman, and you know, we're going to go ahead and keep you updated with all of what you can expect on the roadways. Be safe if you have to head out. Take it slow, and we're going to check in with Samuel King later in the newscast.
Welcome back. If you're just now tuning in, it is extreme cold out there after that overnight snowfall too. It's all kind of made for an issue on the roads that continues and is going to be around for days.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I live close to the station, so I drove in very slowly, but a lot of snow on the road.
And the surface streets are not in great shape.
No, not yet.
Samuel.
Yeah, pretty snow covered out there. This is, we've been showing you this. This is the view at I-10 and Callahan. I saw some of the 18-wheelers pulled over as they tend to do in inclement weather because of the situation out there. And you also see some traffic there on the frontage roads. So remember, TxDOT has not been out on the highways yet. So the roads are still snow covered. So they're still advising people to stay home. All you see here, these indicators are road closures all over town. And we also have some up here in the hill country as well. Let's get another view here on the TransGuide cameras 410 at Jackson Keller. You can definitely see some snow. So this is something that we're going to be seeing on the roads throughout here over the next few days. And what Sarah and Justin have been talking about is just these frigid temperatures out there.
Right. It's 11 degrees in San Antonio. And on top of that, the entire state, most of the entire state of Texas is dealing with some form of snow cover. That is unprecedented. We really haven't seen that, I think, before in our history. And so this is a winter storm that we will be remembering for years to come. Snowfall totals in San Antonio, about 3 to 6 inches of snowfall around San Antonio and points up into the hill country too. So just keep in mind that, as Samuel was mentioning, those roads are going to be impassable pretty much over not only today, but potentially through the next few days. I want to show you some snowfall totals through our KSAT Connect feature. This is out in Seguin, about 3 inches here of snowfall reported out in Seguin. Please, if you want to send us your snow pics, we would love to see them. The best way to measure them is to measure on a flat surface and not along one of those snow drifts. So yesterday's snowstorm got picked up by a lot of wind, and a lot of the snow ended up accumulating on the sides of buildings or various things out in your yards. You need a flat surface to get a pretty accurate snowfall measurement. What's even more is that the snow, we're usually used to it melting if we get snow during the day or within the next 24 hours. This snow is probably not going to fully melt until at least Thursday or Friday. And so that's probably going to keep on allowing those roads to be pretty treacherous. But right now, Justin Horn has a look at what was a big snowstorm here in San Antonio and what we can expect over the next few days. Justin?
Yeah, I think it's fair to use the word historic. I mean, it really is. We don't want to go with a lot of hyperbole here, but I think that's the bottom line. This is one we're going to remember for years, if not decades. And you see this storm system now moving into East Texas, into parts of Arkansas where they're going to get a ton of snow. It started last night in Mexico, swung through. We saw that heavy band of snow. It was putting down about 1 inch an hour. And so that's why we picked up 3 to 4, maybe 5 inches across parts of Barrett County, as Sarah talked about. Current temperatures across the state. We've got negative numbers on the map, -2 in Midland, -7 in Amarillo. It is -7 degrees. That's usually reserved for places like Minnesota, North Dakota, not Texas. But here we are, and it is 10 now in San Antonio. So we have dropped another degree. That's going to put us 9th all-time coldest temperature ever here in San Antonio. To give you some context, wind chill values -6, feels like -12 in San Angelo, -16 in Dallas. We'll go outside for you right now. Still not any light yet, but once that comes up, it is going to be a beautiful scene. It's going to be very nice to see, but a little bit dangerous. 10 degrees at the airport, 11 Stinson, 12 at Kelly, 10 at Randolph, and there's enough wind there for that wind chill. We mentioned some of the records so far. We're going to update this now. 9th coldest temperature all time. Then we've dropped down to 10. Coldest temperature since December 23rd, 1989. It has been a long time since we've been this cold, and the biggest snowfall since 1985. That's one we all remember. Not as much as that event, but 3 to 5 inches. And of course, back in 2017, we saw about 2 inches. So this is more than that. Forecast for today. Sun will be out. It's not going to make much of a difference, but it will be out. By the way, our average high, 67. We're only going to be up to about 27 degrees. So we're talking some 40 to 50 degree difference there. Just incredible when we're talking about below average in some spots. Forecast calling for clear skies today. As we get into tomorrow, we'll start off clear. We could see a little bit of fog. I should mention that. And then by the afternoon, clouds are going to fill back in. Then we get more precipitation. We're not done with the wintry weather yet. This is likely going to be in the form of freezing rain. Could cause some more issues around the area, as if we don't already have enough already. That should switch over to more rain, I think, probably by midday Wednesday, and then move out of here. We'll get some cold temperatures again on Thursday, but Sarah talked about some of this snow may not melt until Friday, especially in the shady areas. So this is a prolonged event, and one that we're just absolutely not used to here in South Texas. So there's a look at 7-day. We'll finally get into the 50s by Friday, maybe the 60s by the weekend. We'll be right back.
Well, like first responders, HVAC workers have received hundreds of calls for service for concerns dealing with heating units. Air Today Heating and Air says they received 40 calls alone yesterday for overfrosted heat units. Manny Mallon says if your unit frosts over, turn your thermostat to emergency heat if it doesn't automatically do so. If you don't have that option, he says, turn your thermostat up 3 to 4 degrees. We are continuing our coverage of the historic cold and winter weather here in South Texas. You can check out the latest online and in the next hour of Good Morning San Antonio. Well, this morning the power grid is stressed. There are now rolling power outages across South Texas, including San Antonio. We'll tell you more about that and how it could impact your ability to stay warm.
And taking a look outside with live cam, boy, it's cold outside. A lot of snow out there. Those roadways full of snow as well. It is 10 degrees. Bundle up if you have to head out.
Unbelievable.
Live from KSAT 12. Good morning, San Antonio starts right now.
Well, hopefully you are home and you get to stay home all day. It is a holiday. Good morning to you. Monday, February 15th.
Thanks so much for joining us this morning. And yeah, it's a good thing it's a holiday that most people will get to stay home today because those roadways are looking pretty snowy right now.
Well, some folks were going to have to go to work or do school today. Let's get you updated on some closures and delays. Some kids will have the chance to play in the snow today, and we hope they do. Others may need to stay inside to attend classes. And let's check those out. North Side and San Antonio ISD closed today. Northeast ISD, South San, and South Side ISD will all have remote instruction.
There are also many more districts that are closed or are on remote learning today. The school district should have reached out to you with a more detailed plan, so be sure to check your emails and also the school website. So you can also find a list of those closures on KSAT.com, and we will have the district closures on the bottom of your screen throughout the newscast.
Well, Justin Horn joins us now, and not only are we dealing with historic cold and an amazing overnight snowfall, it's going to stay cold. You said there's another storm system on the horizon?
Wednesday morning, we could get more freezing rain. So this is sort of unprecedented, I would say, when it comes to a prolonged winter weather event for South Texas. And as cold as the numbers are, I know we're probably digging out the blankets this morning. You're going to want as many blankets as possible, especially if the power continues to go out in spots. Here's something that's just fascinating. The entire state right now is pretty much covered in snow, minus a few spots. But even all the way down to Brownsville, they did report some snow yesterday. Brownsville to Amarillo, El Paso to Beaumont, snow on the ground. Imagine that. Travel across the entire state is a problem. Air travel, as you heard earlier, problem. So this is going to be a big event for not only us, but for the state. Here's just one of the pictures we're getting in from San Antonio. Everything's pretty much snow covered at this point. It's real fine, powdery snow. It's kind of hard to compact together to get snowballs, but it's possible. Enjoy it, soak it up, but be careful because those temperatures are awful cold. Here's the satellite and radar over the last 12 hours. You can see that big snow band that came across. It took until about 10 o'clock for the snow to get here, but once it did, it came down at a very good rate and piled up quickly. 3 to 5 inches, a good bet. Across Bexar County, I think in the Hill Country, there's probably a few spots up to 6 inches. And temperatures, very cold, 10. That is the number right now in San Antonio, 10 in Helotes. We've got single digits, Bernie Stage, Comfort, up to Kerrville. And those wind chills are even worse. We've still got gusty north winds. That snow is swirling around. Feels like -6 here in town. Feels like -12 in Rock Springs. Kind of unheard of around here. And the roads are not in great shape. Samuel King's been following the roads for the last 2-3 days now.
Yes.
It's just amazing to see basically a skating rink out there.
Yeah, this is a I-10 at Medical. We've actually seen a few vehicles on this road throughout the morning here. Traffic is picking up a little bit, still much less than it is in a normal morning, but definitely travel not recommended across the region and pretty much across the entire state right now, which is just something crazy to say. All of these indicators here indicate some road closures or blockages, a lot of red and orange and yellow, all kinds of colors on the map that we really haven't seen around here in a while. Let's take a closer look at some of these closures. Again, I-10 upper levels, lower levels closed. 35 upper level closed. 281 overpass at 35 closed. Had a lot of issues here on 151 yesterday. You see this not moving, this traffic flow. That indicates that it is closed. 410 is closed for a huge stretch of the highway. And in fact, you might be able to get on a highway. It's physically hard to block all of the highways in the region, but you should still consider it closed. Avoid those highways. Also out here in the Hill Country, we've had a lot of issues that we're going to be talking about throughout the day. So just wanted to point out too that this has been a pretty severe situation across the entire region. If you're with us usually on GMSA, we show you these travel times coming in from various areas. Look at that time in from Bernie, 50 minutes from Bernie into downtown. 53 minutes on 35 into San Antonio. That just gives you an idea of how dangerous it is out there, and you should not be on the roads. If you are having to head out, maybe you're a doctor or a nurse or an essential worker who has to head out later today, just make sure you have some of these things in your vehicles, blankets, your cell phones are charged, make sure your gas tank is full. If you get stranded, this is the state hotline, 800-525-5555. That's also on the back of your driver's license. A lot to talk about this morning, even though with lots of traffic, less traffic on the roads this morning. It's a holiday, snow's everywhere, a lot of stuff is closed, but we'll keep here to monitor for you all. Stephanie?
Thank you, Samuel. Hoping those who have to head out will stay safe. And rolling power outages mean you will probably be in the dark at some point today. CPS Energy says these are scheduled outages meant to help conserve electricity. Our Katrina Weber is live at the CPS Energy Service Center near downtown. Now, Katrina, how can people tell the difference between a rolling outage and a bigger problem?
Well, rolling outage should last only about 10 or 15 minutes, according to CPS Energy. Anything longer than that could be a sign of a bigger problem that requires attention. But if you do experience a rolling outage, there's really no need to panic and no need to call CPS Energy. These are scheduled. Now, taking a look at the CPS Energy outage map, we can see that tens of thousands of homes and businesses are without electricity right now. A lot going on that map. It's safe to say that many of these are due to the rolling outages. Now, this is not a CPS Energy call. This is a mandate from ERCOT, the Electric Reliability Council of Texas, which oversees the state's electric grid. ERCOT has declared a level 3 emergency, which means that we have to cut back to ease the burden on the system. Here's what we all can do at home. Set your thermostats to 68 degrees or lower. Turn off and unplug any unused or unnecessary appliances. And keep your blinds and windows closed at night to keep the heat in. Again, if you do experience a power outage, an actual outage that lasts longer than the 10 or 15 minutes, then you may have to call for service. And in that case, CPS Energy says that you will have to be patient because the crews are using these same icy roads, and so they will have to go slowly in order to get around. Reporting live near downtown, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. The unusual weather putting a huge damper on a lot of travel plans, though. Dozens and dozens of flights have been delayed, mostly canceled today because of the extreme winter weather conditions here in the Alamo City. Our Stephen Cavazos is live at San Antonio International Airport. And Stephen, good morning to you. I have two questions for you. One, you guys were out and about today. Is there any evidence that any roads have been plowed yet? And two, are any flights going in or out of San Antonio International today?
Well, first tell you this, Mark, it did take us a little over an hour to get here. Quite some time. We did find several roadblocks along our way to our destination. But as you just mentioned, Fly San Antonio right now shows that the earliest flight that is leaving this airport is not till 1:45 this afternoon. But other than that, the majority of flights as of right now are canceled through the afternoon. Again, as we mentioned to you a little bit earlier, TxDOT is advising those to discourage them from traveling. And if they absolutely must head out for whatever reason, especially out here to the airport, you need to be giving yourself extra time to get here. As we showed you a little bit earlier, we encountered those roadblocks along the way, and it took us about an hour to get here. But not only that, we took it very slow in our vehicle, about 10 to 15 miles per hour in this 4x4 that we're in. Now, a spokeswoman for the airport did tell me last night they actually had to defer traffic here to the lower level due to ice conditions. But if you take a look right behind me, they are now dealing with snowy conditions this morning. But before you even head out the door, it would be wise to obviously check the status of your flight. But Mark, Stephanie, it looks like right now the majority of flights are going to be here on the ground for some time longer. You can stay with KSAT as, of course, we continue to bring you the very latest. Back to you.
All right, Stephen, thank you very, very much. And earlier we were in the truck seeing a live cam as they were going down Broadway at 410. Yes. And we can tell you just based on what we were seeing from sitting here at the anchor desk, Broadway hadn't been plowed, the frontage road hadn't been plowed. Doesn't look like crews have been out there at all overnight because the snow kept going till just a short time ago.
Having to deal with those snowy conditions on the roadway. So thank you to our crews out there. Stephen Cavazos stayed bundled up, and then our Sarah Costa is also bundled up. And this morning she tells us that you may hear "remember your coat" instead of "remember the Alamo."
Hey, Sarah, good morning.
Yeah, not just remember your coat, remember your two coats, because I'm wearing two puffy jackets and 5 layers of pants because I am prepared this morning. I have a fun assignment this morning. Granted, yes, it is 10 degrees out here. My photographer and I are just kind of running to the live truck and have the heat blasting in between live shots because this is really not playing in the snow ideal weather, this 10-degree weather, but Alamo, because a lot of people don't see snow on the ground like this, have been attracting people throughout the night. Right now, we saw like 1 or 2 people coming up to take pictures. A lot of people on foot coming up who are staying in the hotels or live downtown. We actually spoke to one young man who said this was the first time he's ever seen snow.
Oh my, it's one of the first times I've seen snow ever since like 2017. But that wasn't even real snow. This is real snow. And it's so cool to see all this.
Yeah, it's the real snow. You know, like Justin Horn's been saying, anywhere between 3 to 5 inches across our viewing area. It's really not good snow to play with. It doesn't make, you know, those good, hard snowballs that stick or, you know, a snowman. We talked to the security guard who's been braving this temperatures all night. You know, kudos to him guarding the Alamo in this 10-degree weather. He said he saw grown men getting down and doing snow angels. So before I go, here's my snow angel in 10 degrees in front of the Alamo. Mark and Stephanie, I'm Sarah Costa, live from the Alamo. Back to you guys.
And it's perfect for snow angels because it's the dry, powdery snow this time.
There it is. There's your snow angel. Great
that.
job, Sarah. Great job.
That's beautiful.
Don't forget to take a picture. You're going to have to remember this.
Thank you, Sarah. 6:14, 10 bloody degrees outside. Can you believe this?
I know. It seems like a misprint, right? 10 degrees.
Good Lord.
Let's take a look outside at Live Cam. You can see those roads pretty empty right now. There are a lot of roadways with snow on them. And like we were talking about earlier, Stephen Cavazos and his photographer, Asian, were out driving in it. So if you have to head out, be careful. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, 6:18. We're going to talk weather in a moment.
But first, let's check those snowy roadways with Samuel King. I bet it's still pretty snowy out there.
At the northwest side over here. Here we are. Hi, everybody. And you can see the sign, basically all lanes closed, exit now. We have seen some vehicles on here before, so it's good now that this sign is posted so people can definitely see that this 1604, one of the many roadways across the area that is closed. You see any sort of indicator on here marks a closure, and this marks a slippery conditions, and that's something we're seeing because roads across the entire region are snow covered. We've been mentioning 151 and 410. That has definitely been an issue over the past couple of days, actually. And you can see here completely no traffic flow there on 151. That is a complete shutdown. We had a lot of issues on 151 yesterday because some parts of it are elevated. Also mentioning downtown, we've been talking that I-10 basically is shut down. The upper levels and the lower levels, the 35 upper level closed. Again, here is 410 and going out to the Hill Country. We've been talking a lot about that, but this is State Highway 16, for instance, snow covered out there. Again, these are some of the travel times, just give you an indication that unless you have to be out there, maybe you're a doctor, first responder, things of that nature, just don't head out. These are some of the tips there. Make sure you have some way to keep yourself warm in a vehicle if you do head out and end up being stranded. And Justin Horn is joining us now. And Justin, the one concern I have is the temperatures are not going to warm up, so we're not going to see much melting on the roads, even if they are cleared later this morning.
It's absolutely true. And we're at 10 right now. We may be there again tonight into tomorrow morning. So yes, it's all going to stick around. And on top of that, pipes are freezing. And with this prolonged event, pipes are going to be a big issue. We typically don't have that issue here in San Antonio. This go round, we absolutely do. And it's not until things thaw that those pipes start to burst. So there's going to be issues down the line here. In the meantime, we'll enjoy what we got. Some snow on the ground. It is a beautiful sight. Here's a look at some of the snowfall reports. 5 inches in New Braunfels, Bandera, 4.5 inches, Castle Hills, 4.5 inches. Same for Bulverde, Hollywood Park, 4 inches. 3 to 5 inches in general, but you can see there's some higher numbers there. And if you want to measure how much snowfall you have, take a ruler, find a good flat area away from any sort of snow drift and just stick that ruler straight in the ground, straight into the snow, and you can see where you are as far as snowfall totals. But generally speaking, 3 to 5 inches here in San Antonio and Bexar County. There's a look right now. You see the roads basically bare there with just some snow. Thankfully, not a lot of drivers out, as Samuel's been talking about. 10 degrees at the airport. Northwesterly winds at 14, gusting to 25. That makes it feel so cold out there. Wind chill values have been below zero. And we've been talking about the records that have been set with this system. They keep coming. With us getting down to 10 now, that is the 9th coldest temperature all time. Coldest temperatures since December 23rd, 1989, where we got down to 6. And if you were curious, our all-time record low, 0. That was set back in the 40s. We also had snow on the ground that go around. I don't think we'll get there, thankfully, but we are going to see some single digits around the area for sure. And this is our biggest snowfall since 1985, surpassing 2017 when we saw about 2 inches. 58 hours now below freezing. We're going to add to that. We could go as far as 108 hours below that freezing mark, which would also tie a record set back in 1951. So this storm is historic in many ways. As we look across the state of Texas, snow stretched last night from Brownsville to San Antonio up to Dallas. Snow-covered state, basically, is what we've got on our hands here. Amarillo to El Paso, out west all the way to places like Beaumont, Tyler, Texarkana, all snowed in at this point. Travel is going to be tough across the entire state. You see the temperatures. We've got negative numbers on the map. -2 in Wichita Falls, -7 in Amarillo. Feels like it's in the negative territory just about anywhere you go, minus deep south Texas. -12, your feels like temperature in San Angelo. Again, it feels like -6 here. Temperatures are not going to get above freezing today. They'll stay, well, in the teens through lunchtime. That's incredible to think about, considering we are going to see snow, probably upper 20s for highs today, which would be about 40 degrees below the average. The average high today is 67, just to give you some perspective there. Our forecast shows that we'll get clear skies tonight. There could be some patchy fog developing, patchy freezing fog developing tomorrow morning. Clouds fill back in tomorrow evening, and then by early Wednesday, we're looking at more freezing precipitation, freezing rain possible. So this is going to add insult to injury. And this will probably continue through about midday Wednesday before it changes over to rain and then gets out of here. We may see another little brief area of precipitation moving through Thursday morning before, yes, we finally get above freezing, or at least we get into some temperatures that will melt everything. That's probably going to happen Friday, 50 degrees, and then some 60s by the weekend. It does warm up. But this is pretty incredible. One for the record books, an extended time below freezing, and a lot of snow on the ground. Be careful if you're going to be out building those snowmen this morning. We'll be back.
Here's your secret word of the day. Enter it on KSAT.com/Circle K for a monthly chance to win free gas for a year. Every entry wins a medium coffee. Win with Circle K and GMSA.
Well, it's already unusual enough San Antonio finds itself in the middle of a truly Arctic blast.
But a neighborhood here also witnessed a tiger. Yes, a tiger caged in someone's backyard yesterday. Bexar County Sheriff's deputies are looking into how it got there and why the owner would leave it outside. It's not even the first incident involving a tiger this month. As for this case, the person believed to be the owner has been cited for a Class C misdemeanor, but an investigation is ongoing.
Sheriff Salazar says owning an animal of this kind is dangerous in itself, but further exposing it to these freezing conditions is inhumane. The tiger cub now in the proper care of Southern Wildlife Rehab. Let's check out the roads with TransGuide, and we are starting to see some traffic in different parts of town. 35 in Ben's Engelman, and we've got some new information coming in from TxDOT on their efforts to get some of the major highways plowed. We're going to leave that information for Samuel King coming up. Hi. Good morning. It's Monday. It is February 15th. We had a small blackout there just for a second.
Yeah, but we're back.
We're seeing some rolling blackouts around town. We're going to talk more about that coming up, the snow and the ice and the traffic and the weather. But first,
That's right. Let's give you a reminder about all the closures going on. Northside and San Antonio ISD are closed today. Northeast ISD, South San, and Southside ISD will all have remote instruction.
Many other districts should have reached out to you with a more detailed plan, so make sure you check your emails and the school's websites. You can also find a list on KSAT.com. We have the district closures. Just scroll at the bottom of the screen.
And for now, let's go ahead and check in with Justin.
Hey there, guys. Just was texting our friend David Sears. He has been without power, without water since about 4 o'clock this morning. So folks in the hill country, maybe without power, maybe without water. In some cases, those pipes freezing. Not a great situation considering temperatures are as cold as they are. Snowfall totals up to 5 inches in New Braunfels. We've had about 4.5 anywhere from Bandera, Castle Hills down to Bulverde, Hollywood Park about 4 inches. Here in San Antonio, I'd say on average 3 to 5 inches. It is beautiful out there. Snow came down at a really good clip overnight. And now we're starting to get the clearing. And so we're going to see clear skies here soon. Sun will be out, but it's 10 degrees right now. Northwesterly winds at about 14 miles per hour, gusting to 25. So wind chill values are below zero. When's the last time we said that here in South Texas? It's been a long time, if ever. Current temperatures, -7 in Amarillo, -2 Wichita Falls, 8 in Waco, 18 in Corpus. It's 28 in Brownsville. They saw snow yesterday, at least a little bit. Locally, 7 Bernie Stage, 8 in Hondo, 11 down there at Stinson. Carrizo Springs at 14. These numbers are just nothing short of impressive. Negative numbers as far as the wind chill is concerned. Feels like it's 0 in Gonzales. Feels like it's -12 in Rock Springs. Bottom line here, be careful if you're going to be outdoors. Hypothermia can set in with these kind of numbers. It's not going over the top to say that. And our average high temperature is 67. Just to give you some perspective here, we're thinking upper 20s for highs today. So it's going to be a long time before this snow melts. We've got some new news coming in here as far as traffic is concerned. Let's get over to Samuel King for the latest there. What are you hearing, Samuel?
Well, one good thing, this is a look at I-10 at Callahan, Justin. It's still snow covered, but Textile, we just heard from them. They are getting out there on the roads and clearing and treating the roads. They are starting here on I-35 here on the southwest side. So they've already started treating down here. But it's going to be a while before they get to the entire network. They still have to do 1604, 410, I-10, so on and so forth. But the good news is now that the conditions have cleared, the snow's not falling here. It's a little safer for these crews to get out there on the roads. They're going to start clearing the roads and the highways, and that's a good thing because any indicator you see here shows that the highways are closed. And let's go over some of the big ones. 410 at 151 has been closed for the past couple of days. We've had these downtown closures, the upper and lower levels of I-10. 35 upper level to 281 overpass at 35 closed. Also have some city closures. Broadway, Austin Highway, our Stephen Cavazos was trying to make his way to the airport and reported that a number of city streets in the city of San Antonio are closed, so watch out for that. Also up here in the Comal County, we have a lot of closures, a lot of issues here in Seguin, 46 between Seguin and New Braunfels, 35 has some snow cover, and 46 on further up to the north. So you kind of get the idea, and we show this graphic if you're with us usually on GMSA. Look at that travel time from New Braunfels, 61 minutes, more than an hour on 35 from the New Braunfels area into downtown San Antonio. So that's another indicator why most people should stay off the roads. And here's one more look here. This is I-10 at Callahan. We've seen these 18-wheelers parked here, but again, TxDOT's starting to get out there clearing these highways. But again, there are just so much a highway, an extensive highway network here in the San Antonio region. So it's going to be a while. And before I toss it back to you guys, one thing, with temperatures this cold, the roads aren't suddenly going to be clear sailing. We're still going to have some icy patches here and there until we get some really warmer temperatures later this week, guys.
All right, thank you, Samuel. We'll see you a little bit later on. Don't be surprised if the lights go out at home at some point. CPS Energy says it's under orders to conduct rolling power outages today.
The cold weather has the state's electric grid stressed out, and this is a way to give it a bit of a break. Our Katrina Weber is live at the CPS Energy service station near downtown. And Katrina, what should we do at home?
Well, there's not a whole lot that you can do in response to the rolling outages. Now, these are just a way, again, to relieve the electric grid. If you have any electronics that might suffer or might be damaged by a sudden outage, then it's a good idea to go ahead and unplug those in advance. But otherwise, just sit tight. These rolling outages last only about 10 to 15 minutes. And many people in the area have already had a taste of this morning. The orders for the rolling outages came from ERCOT, the Electric Reliability Council of Texas. That's the agency that oversees the state's power grid. It has declared a level 3 emergency, which means we have to cut back to ease the burden on the system. Now, if you do have an actual problem, an outage that lasts longer than the 10 or 15 minutes, CPS Energy says you also may have to wait a while.
We have crews that are ready to serve our community, and we ask that everyone be patient as closed roads and highways are going to impact how they can serve our community safely.
The rolling outages are a big step toward conserving, but we also can do some things at home, such as adjusting the thermostat to 68 degrees or lower. You also should turn off and unplug any unused or unnecessary appliances and keep the blinds shut at night to keep the heat inside your home. While these rolling outages, the power should come back on by itself within about 10 or 15 minutes. There's no need to call CPS Energy, but again, if you do call, be prepared if you have an outage that lasts longer, then it could be a bigger problem. But speaking of problems, it seems that we have some down at the airport, and that's where we find our Stephen Cavazos. Stephen, how are travelers handling all the cancellations and delays?
Well, Katrina, you can imagine that the travel right now must be very tedious. Now, as far as arrivals here at the San Antonio International Airport, many flights have been canceled. And according to flysanantonio.com, the earliest flight that's going to be arriving here at the airport will not happen until 12:35 this afternoon. And as far as departures go, the earliest departure will not happen until 1:45 in the afternoon. Other than that, the majority of flights have been canceled through the afternoon. And although we've been saying that TxDOT is discouraging travel, Samuel King has been saying it's best not to travel right now. If you absolutely need to head out to the airport, you must give yourself plenty of time to get here. We showed you earlier on in the show, it took Azian and I about an hour or so to get from downtown here to the airport. We encountered several roadblocks along the way, including some blocked roads, a lot of snowy roads, and again, we were in a 4x4 taking it about 10 to 15 miles to get here. So again, if you absolutely need to head out to the airport, it would be wise to give yourself that extra time to get here. But, you know, if you can stay home, definitely do that. Now, a spokesman for the airport did tell me last night that they actually had to defer traffic here to the lower level, which is where we're at right now due to the icy conditions. But you can take a look right behind me. We're now dealing with some snowy conditions right now that are pretty unsafe for drivers. But before you even head out the door, the best thing that you can do if you have travel plans, check the status of your flight. Head over to flysanantonio.com. They'll have a list of cancellations, departures, and arrivals. But for now, let's head over to Sarah Acosta, who's down at the Alamo right now. Sarah, how's it holding up down there?
Hey, good morning, Stephen. You know, we had lots of snowfall, like Justin Horn has been saying all morning, anywhere from 3 to 5 inches. I want to thank Sarah Spivey for lending me her tape measure. So here, officially, you know, we have the airport count. We're going to do the Alamo count. Let's see here. It's about 2 inches or so. So not a lot of snow here at the Alamo compared to other areas, but it hasn't stopped people from walking over here and taking pictures. So the majority of people we've been seeing out here are people who, you know, are staying at the nearby hotels or live in the downtown area. They're walking over here and they're braving the cold because it is 10 degrees. It's not the most ideal walking weather. And they're taking pictures and selfies in front of the Alamo. You know, we've seen a couple people come here and there throughout the morning. We spoke to one man who said it was worth braving the cold to get out here.
Don't live too far, but man, you never think you see the day until you got snow coming down like this, you know? So just out here enjoying it, going for a little jog and everything, and got to take it in while it's here, you know, because it won't be here long.
Yeah, you really got to take it in while it's here. It's beautiful to see the Alamo covered in snow. So many people have been taking photos. There's actually a young man over there with a professional camera, setting it up to take that photo. And before I go, I need to take my selfie here. Been waiting all morning. There it is. February 15th, 10 o'clock, 10 degrees at the Alamo in 2 jackets. Back to you, Mark and Stephanie.
Don't forget it, Sarah.
Yeah, and behind her there, you see the clouds moving away. It looks like skies are starting to clear, which means you would think normally we'd warm up. Not going to happen.
Not today.
Not today. Thank you, Sarah. All right, so the weather's bad all over the place. We've been showing you, obviously, what's been happening downtown. The Hill Country tends to get it worse. It tends to be snowier and colder.
Our David Sayers sent us a look at what has been like all morning out in Comal County.
Okay, so the neighborhood's still asleep. I'm out near the street. I just wanted to show you some of the incredible views this early in the morning of all the snow that Mother Nature has left behind, 5 inches. It's hard to tell the driveway from the side, but I'm gonna walk out here and just show you what it's like. I just climbed a little hill. Now I think I'm in the street. Yep, I'm in the middle of the street. Somebody else has actually walked down the street, I guess, but you don't see any tire tracks at all. When we started last night, you could see the street, although it's all iced over. But now there's 5 inches of snow on the street. It's absolutely amazing what it looks like here in the hill country of South Texas at 7 degrees early Monday morning.
And I tell you what, if you're not used to walking in about 4 or 5 inches of snow, it can cause some exertion on the body. You might be a little bit out of breath. Plus, I mean, factor in that it's, so darn cold this morning.
It is, and you know from experience because you walked from the hotel, didn't you?
And I was huffing and puffing just like David Sears.
Cold out there.
6:43, 10 degrees.
Oh my goodness, 10 degrees. I can't believe it. Let's take a look outside with live cam. You can see it's kind of clearing up, but you know what? It's going to be cold. It's going to be cold pretty much all day. So if you have to head out, bundle up. We're going to check in with Justin and Sarah and Samuel later in the newscast.
6:46, and we could not believe our eyes. We actually saw plows on TransGuide.
That's something we don't see here. Well, a lot of what we're seeing this morning is what we don't see here very often. Let's go ahead and check in with Samuel. How about those roadways?
Yeah, we just saw them there. This is 35 at Ben Zingelman near BAMC. It was like a caravan of trucks here. We're all marveling at it. And then there's a bunch of traffic coming after it. But they came through and they're mobilizing, they're moving across the region. They did 35 on the southwest side. But if you notice, they came through, guys, and there's still stuff on the roads. That's because it's so cold. When you have temperatures below 15 or 20 degrees, you're not going to get much impact with one pass through. They're going to have to come through here again and again and again. And there's only so many in this region because, as we've been saying all morning, you typically don't see this type of weather, and you see a car trying to make its way over there. They started down here on the southwest side, coming in southbound, southwest side, so they're making their way up, but they still have a lot to do here, folks, over the next few days. We've been talking about the closures here on 410 and 151 downtown. We've mentioned stay away from there. Also have the closures here in the city, Broadway and Austin Highway. That's just one of them. We're checking on that to see if we get some more closures. And we mentioned our friend David Sears up here north of up in Canyon Lake. New Braunfels, a lot of issues out there. So Justin and Sarah, I'll send it over to you. And how much longer are we going to see these really cold temperatures?
We're going to see the really cold temperatures through Wednesday morning. In fact, tomorrow morning we could have another day where we're close to 10 degrees to start off the day. I'm showing you right here snow cover across almost the entire state of Texas. You know, we've been talking here about how historic this storm system is, this winter storm system is, and it really is. This is the first time I've ever seen snow cover this abundant across the state of Texas. And just looking at those TransGuide cameras, I mean, it looks like we're living way up north instead of in San Antonio. And overnight, as far as snowfall reports go, we've really seen areas get about 3 to 5 inches of snow, pretty widespread around the San Antonio area. New Braunfels, 5 inches, Bandera, 4.5, Castle Hills and Bulverde 4.5 as well. So some things to think about before I toss it over to Justin. A full melt of the snow may not be possible until about Thursday or Friday. So roads will be treacherous over the next few days. We are experiencing rolling power outages in San Antonio and widespread hill country power outages, as David reported earlier. We're also starting to get concerned about pipes, as some of those are beginning to freeze in some of the more rural areas. But all of this will be with you throughout the whole thing. For now, I want to go ahead and toss it over to Justin, who's got our frigid forecast.
Thanks, Sarah. Went outside, got me some snow. It's very fine snow if you've been out there. It's powdery. Not great for snowballs, but it'll work. It's very beautiful snow. Here you go, Mark, catch. Nicely played.
You're dealing with an expert, though.
And
hey, you know, being inside, it's actually gotten wetter, so it's actually better than you thought.
Hey, it's like an ice ball.
Nice catch.
Anyway, ninth coldest temperature all time. Here in San Antonio, I got down to 10. Coldest temperature since December 23rd, 1989. That's when we got down to 6, and the largest snowfall since 1985. So this puts it into perspective. It is history making. It is dangerous in the sense that we've got some terribly cold air, as Sarah's mentioning, and it's not going to let up for all that long, or it's going to take a while for it to let up. You see the snow across far east Texas. We're starting to get some clearing here. Sun will be out, but it will still be bitterly cold. 10 degrees here in San Antonio, 2 in San Angelo, 0 Abilene, -7 right now in Amarillo. There's the scene outside. You can see light now. It's going to be a beautiful scene, but Sam's been talking about the roads. They're still in bad shape, and we've got 10 at the airport, 11 Kelly, 10 at Randolph, and the temperatures in the single digits in the hill country, 6 in Comfort, 7 Bernie Stage. Power is out in some spots, water is out in some spots because those pipes are freezing, and that's where we get into the dangerous territory. Wind chill is -6. If you're going to be outside playing in the snow, bundle up, wear layers. It's that kind of day. With sun out, we're still going to be only up into the 20s. Hard to believe at noontime. We're predicting a temperature of 19. This is some 40 degrees below average. Looking at the forecast, we get clear skies, but as we get into tomorrow, we'll get some fog early potentially, and then clouds move in. And then late Tuesday night, early Wednesday, we could see some freezing drizzle, freezing rain yet again across the area. Some more problems. This does not end. And that's kind of, what we've been talking about all morning. This is going to be a problem all the way into Thursday. It could be before Friday. It may take until Friday before some of this melts, especially in the shady areas. So 33 Tuesday, 42 Wednesday. There's our 60% chance of a wintry mix. 20% chance Thursday morning, and we will eventually get back into the 60s by the weekend. We'll be right back.
Morning, everybody. 6:55. One last check of traffic here. You can see this is the upper level at Culebra. This is closed, as are a lot of the areas around the region. And here is I-10 at Callahan. You can see the 18-wheelers there have been parked. The good news is that TxDOT has been out starting to clear the roads. But with the temperatures so cold, it's going to take a little bit for that to clear up. So consider the roads dangerous and icy out there today. And remember, one more thing, Justin, before I toss to you, we have a lot of closures in the city with these power outages. Treat them as four-way stops, those intersections.
Information, Samuel, thank you. And this is a statement I never thought I would say. It is currently 9 degrees in San Antonio with wind chills below 0. We will only get up to 27 today, and that is with sun. Pretty wild day here in South Texas. Go out and enjoy the snow, but stay warm. Be careful.
Hard to believe, Justin. Thanks so much.
Everybody, bundle up, stay warm, and please stay safe.
Yes, we'll see you back here at 9.